We bless all those prayers that are in our prayer box. And if you have any prayers that you would like to mentally add to that prayer box, please do so now. Knowing that our prayer chaplains pray on these prayers, pray with you, pray with Spirit, knowing the truth of all these prayers. And after that, they are sent to Silent Unity, where they are prayed on for another 30 days. Many people praying on these prayers. So we hold everyone who submitted a prayer in our consciousness as all those who may need a special lift this week. Let us hold them in our hearts right now. And now we'll move into meditation. I ask you to settle into your heart and feel your heart. Just feel your heart. Know that it is beating, beating, beating. Beating with that life force, divine energy, that which creates our aliveness. And as our heart is beating, 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 it is filled with love and beats with love. Now, using your imagination, I'd like you to think about the people that are sitting around you. Perhaps those that are sitting to your left, to your right, in front of you, behind you. And know that everyone that's sitting around you has a heart that is beating with yours. Beating, beating, beating. And you are one with them, with your beating heart. Now in your mind's eye, just imagine everyone here in our spiritual community, right now, today, in our sanctuary. And know that everyone here has a heart that is beating, beating, beating. And you are one with everyone here through the beating of your hearts. We are connected. Our hearts are beating together in the rhythm of life. And there can be no separation. Now, using your imagination, bring forth into your mind all those people that you love and that you care about. Your family, your friends, your loved ones, near and far. And think of them as their hearts are beating, beating, beating with yours. And you are right now one with all of them in the beating of your hearts. Connected in that life force, in the oneness of all. And feel your heart open with love and caring. A beautiful love of beating, beating, beating with the hearts of all those you care about and everyone here in our spiritual community. Now let's use our imagination and even think bigger. Think of all those people in Savage today. People that we know, that we don't know, different walks of life, different ages, different races, different religion. And yet know that in every church and in every home and everywhere in Savage today, there are people that have a heart, and their heart is beating, beating, beating with yours. Allow yourself to feel that connection to all these people with the beating of your heart. Now think even bigger. Both Minneapolis and St. Paul, the millions of people, the great diversity, the tremendous diversity of all the different kinds of people living here, the many cultures that are represented, and yet every person that you might like or not like, that you might resonate with or not resonate with, they all have a heart, and everyone has a heart that is beating, beating, beating. And feel your oneness with all these people through the beating of your heart. And from every heart that is beating is emanating love. Every person loves someone else. So love is emanating from every beating heart. Feel that love. As your heart emanates love, feel all the love that is coming forth with you, to you, around you. And we are one with the beating, beating, beating of our hearts. And now think even bigger. The whole state of Minnesota and all of the people. People who live in the rural areas, in the cities. People who live in the north and the south. The young and the old. And everyone has a heart that is beating, beating, beating with yours. Feel your connection to all these people. The life force is moving through all people. So expand and use your imagination now and just bring to mind the entire United States. All the states, the western states, the southern states, Midwest states, northern states, eastern states, everywhere. And think of all the people engaged in all the many activities of life. And everyone who is alive is connected to you with the beating, beating, beating of their heart. Feel your heart beating and know that you are one with everyone in this country. And as you breathe and as you feel your heart beat, just allow yourself to sink deeper into the love that comes with your heart and the beating of your heart. And opening again to even a greater, using your full imagination as you imagine the entire world, all of the countries. Bring forth in your mind the different countries. Perhaps it's Greece or Mexico or Canada, South Africa, Australia, Turkey, Japan, all across the entire world, Russia, with all the Olympics and the Olympians, and you are one with everyone through the beating, beating, beating of your heart. So put your hand on your heart and feel it beating. And know that as your heart is beating, you are connected to all those who are alive on our earth plane through the beating of the heart. Regardless of differences or similarities, regardless of philosophies or cultures, regardless of whatever may be going on, you are one with everyone through the beating, beating, beating of your heart. And as your heart is emanating love with every beat, know that every other heart is emanating with love with every beat. So we are connected to all in love. Feel the love emanating from you. And feel the love coming to you. Throughout this day, be reminded of the beating, beating, beating of your heart. And know that you are included in the world of life and the world of love. And so it is.
You stood by me for all the truth you made me see, for all this joy you brought to my life, for every wrong that you made right, for every dream for all the love I found in you, I'll be forever thankful. You're the one who held me up and never let me fall. You're the one who saw me through it all. You were my because you love me. You gave me wings, you made me fly. You touched my hand, I could touch the sky. I lost my faith, you gave it back to me. You said no star was out of reach. You stood by me, and I stood tall. I had your love, I had it all. I'm grateful for each day you gave me. And maybe I don't know that much, but I know this much is true. I was blessed because I was loved by you. You were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me. Lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith when you believed. I'm everything I am because you loved me. Well, you were always there for me, a tender wind that carried me. Light in the dark, shining your love into my life. You've been my inspiration. Through the lies, you were the truth. My world is a better place because of you. You were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me. You lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith 'cause you believed. I'm everything I am because you love me. You were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me. Lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith 'cause you believed. Oh, I'm everything I am because you love me. Say, I'm everything I am because you loved me.
Already. Well, my name is Tim Buss. I have been coming to this church for about 2 years. I have been a part of Unity for 3 years now. I first started up in St. Cloud. A long way to go just to find God, isn't it? I was up in a relationship with someone up there, and she belonged to Unity, and I will forever be grateful for that fact, because I truly have found the God I've been looking for my entire life at Unity, and that's a pretty neat thing for me. I've gone to many churches in my life, and I'll get into that in a minute. Let me tell you about me. My name is Tim Buss. I live in Inver Grove Heights. I am an inspector at a machine shop. That's what I do every day, and I love what I do. So, which, along with the whole Unity deal, I finally got a job that I am happy to go to every day. I have 4 wonderful children, 3 grandkids, ranging from ages 35 to 14. And then my grandkids range from 16 to 12. So I'm quite the traveler of life. But my first day in Unity, my first church service in Unity was so memorable. It was in a room kind of like this, where we had open windows to see the outside. So as I had somebody up there speaking words that I had never heard before, I got the beauty of the sunshine, and there was a park outside. A little too close, huh? There was a park outside, and things were magical. I couldn't believe it. And that relationship in my life passed on, and so I needed to find a new church. Well, I first went to Unity South for a while, and that was good. I love Reverend Festus. He was a really wonderful speaker. Some of their people that they got up were great, but it just didn't feel like home to me. So I got on the internet, and I checked out the Unity churches in the area. In Savage, that's that town that is so far south that I had never been there before, so I thought. And so it was lunch hour. I got the directions, found out it was only 5 miles away. And so I got in my car, came down here for lunch, sat in the parking lot, and thought, wow, I can come here. It's only just a little bit farther than going to work every day. So I came here. And I walked through that front door, and I seen something that I had not seen before. That bookstore. I am a lover of books. I haven't spent a lot of time reading lately, but I love to read books. And for me, it was authors like Richard Paul Evans, Nicholas Sparks. That's where I found my passion. But boy, I have found some books that are mesmerizing. There's a whole bunch of us doing the E2 book, and I got to tell you, it has transformed a lot of the way I think about different things, and so thank you, Reverend Sheriff, for putting that on. I appreciate it. Boy, I learned things here in classes. I like to take the metaphysics class, and people, when outside of church here, ask me, well, what's metaphysics? And I says, well, it's kind of like taking the stories of the Bible and looking beyond those stories, looking at what the stories meant. When those people wrote those stories, it meant something, and there was a story behind that story. And that's what we do, is we study that. And wow, it's amazing. I truly have found my God. And who would have ever thought that God could be inside of me? I always thought God was somebody up in heaven, and that's just the way it was. And I don't know. And to find it in me, oh my gosh, that was pretty amazing. I have this little tiny house. In this little tiny house, I have a big bathroom downstairs. And in my bathroom, I have a chair. And I kind of call that my meditation chair. You would be surprised. People say, you've got a meditation chair in your bathroom. Mm-hmm. but it's the nicest room in the whole house. It's brand new. And I did, I had it built bigger so I could put either a small love seat couch or someplace where I could sit and put my socks on, you know? But this chair, I can sit in it and find my peace. And that peace first started here at Unity. And beforehand, as I was planning this, I came up with something that everything that I hear at Unity, everything I learn at Unity, is something that my parents couldn't teach me because they didn't know how. But I'm here today, and I'm thankful for the YOU because I have a daughter that is so amazing. Her name is Brianna, and the transformation that she is making into adulthood, where she's only 14, is so wonderful. And I really, truly believe it's because of this church and the people and everyone. Thank you.
My name is Mary Schultz. When Reb Share asked me to speak today, I thought I cannot do that. I cannot talk in front of people, but I thought I had an easy message to deliver, so I'm happy to be here this morning. I was raised a Catholic, and I, from a very young age, had a very spiritual heart, but I had a lot of conflict with the Catholic religion. And it meant a lot to me to go to church, but I just couldn't find a church that I liked. Most of my struggle with Catholicism was internal until it came time to get married. And I married a divorced Lutheran, and my church wouldn't marry us. And I was so mad. And that was pretty much the beginning of the end for me on that spiritual path. We moved out south of the river here and joined a church called Shepherd of the Lake and followed a really cool pastor named Steve Haschig, who I adored. He was fantastic. And we followed him for a long time. He had a really cool message that resonated in my heart, but I had 2 kids and we baptized him at that church, and I couldn't get past the original sin thing. Once I had those little babies and I looked into those eyes and I thought, there's just no way that my kids are born of original sin. I couldn't resolve that. And he tried to help me through that, but anyways, we followed him for a long time until he was fired for having an inappropriate relationship with a woman of the congregation. And so that kind of bothered me a little bit, but right along that time, I graduated from a Lutheran college, and my thesis paper was how I couldn't resolve some of the followings of the faith. Mostly that people who didn't believe in Jesus Christ wouldn't be saved, and I just couldn't get past that. And the college couldn't get past that I was writing about this. They didn't like that at all, but they graduated me, so that was good. From there, we kind of looked around for more churches, and we went out to Hosanna in Lakeville, and there was a really cool pastor there, and I wrote him an email about that conflict. He said, I just can't get past this, help me with this. And he said, he was kind enough to respond to my email, which was awesome. But he said, Mary, you just have to leave it alone. Just accept what you can accept and leave it alone. And I thought, if only I could do that. I just couldn't do it. It just bothered me. I had this internal conflict like I can't describe to you. It just bothered me so much. So I kept searching for a church, and I found this little tiny church called Bridgewater in Savage. And there was a hippie pastor there. He was probably not even 30. He wore tie-dye t-shirts, had earrings, long hair, had weird energy, but had a really cool message. And I would go there, and I don't know why I would burst into tears every time, but I liked him until he was arrested for visiting a prostitute. And so I thought, well, okay, I'm making this whole thing up. I just got to figure this out on my own. So a couple years ago, maybe just a year and a half ago, I guess, for various reasons, I was on the couch of a shrink, and she was asking me about my spiritual well-being, and I told her the story that I just told you guys. And she said, you know, I know this place, this cool little place called Unity of the Valley. I said, where is it? And she said, it's in Savage. I said, there's just no way, I live in Savage. There's no cool little place I don't know about in Savage. And so I came here, and it was just from the minute I walked in. Actually, it was from the minute I heard that singing bowl. I just thought, okay, this is it. Audrey and Rev share. And for me, what Unity has meant to me is the resolution of that conflict that I have suffered with forever. And I just love everything about Unity. The classes are fantastic, the people, but mostly is just the spirit and the energy. And for that, I'm truly grateful. And how cool is it that the word of the day was included? Because that about sums it up for me.
I very much appreciate the opportunity to come up and speak about what Unity means to me, and also speak about a little bit of my personal spiritual journey. And I'm married. I have 3 children, and we live in Shakopee, close by. And my spiritual journey began when I was 13 years of age. Back then, my mother and my older brother, they started attending Baptist church over in Russia, and also they took me with them. And at that point on, I started hearing people, messages, sermons, and people discussing Bible and Christian life, and I liked it. I liked it. And soon my mother and my brother were baptized and became member of local Baptist church, and we attended Baptist church on a regular basis. And when I was 22, I was baptized also, and became a member of the church. And what was interesting in my Christian life back then, that at some point we moved to Siberia, to far east of Russia, and I lived there for 2 years, and we purchased a small house, and we had no TV. We didn't have much civilization, I would say, and we had a radio. And we would listen Christian radio programs, which were broadcast from abroad, from Canada, from the United States, and radio hosts were Russian immigrants from Russia who immigrated many years ago, but they spoke Russian language, and they would broadcast Christian programs. And I remember there was a block of 4 programs from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m., which is prime time, I would say. And I would sit down, do my homework, and my mother would turn on the radio, and we would listen to programs. And it was very interesting. And from hearing that, and I've learned a lot. And so when I became a member of the church, I remember that God gave me that passion. I wanted to explore the Bible. I wanted to find out principles, and I wanted to live these principles. And I believed that if I would live those principles, my wife, or my life would be incredible. So, and I followed through this, and I did study Bible. I like studying Bible. And at some point, I met some people who said, "Victor, you should get involved in Christian ministry, because there is a lots of work to do." And they persuaded me. So I did involved into ministry. I traveled, had a number of Bible study groups, and gave talks. And I met lots of people, interesting people, devoted people, and at some point I noticed that all we say is we take biblical principle, we take text from the Bible, and we interpret them in a certain way, and we say this is right, this is true. So other people who interpret these same passages, obviously they don't interpret it right. So we live in truth, we have truth. Other people live in deceit, or not in truth. And so it was kind of black and white, truth and false. There is God here, there is no God there. And I